Welcome to another episode of the Getting After It podcast, where we're going to be talking about things like leadership, discipline, and of course, getting after it in all aspects of life. And I'm pretty pumped on a few things today. One, can you hear how crisp this is? You can hear everything about what I'm talking about. I'm like whispering now, but it's still very clear. And I'm pumped on that. That's pretty sick. Sorry, you might have gotten a little spook there. It's pretty loud. Anyways, I'm still adjusting to the new mic, but want to, put some more quality and put a little bit more time and effort into this thing. So figured got to get a new mic. Second reason I'm excited, we're going to be talking about something today that I'm really working on myself. And so I've been doing a lot of research and I feel like I'm learning a lot more about this topic, and it's going to be self-confidence. Self-confidence, if, you might struggle with this yourself. I know I do. And it's something I'm consistently trying to work on all the time. Self-confidence is really the foundation upon which we build the life that we want. It's the belief that we're capable of achieving our goals and dreams, even when faced with challenges and obstacles. You just got to believe that you can do whatever you want. And that's why I'm excited to talk about this, because, if you do listen to this and you are someone who actively tries to work on yourself and get better, then you might learn something. And that's my goal with this podcast today. So where to start? Where do you start when you want to build self-confidence? I think first and foremost, the most important thing that you need to do is start asking yourself some questions. This is how I have identified a lot of areas that I want to improve on, some of my strengths, weaknesses, but I've kind of narrowed it down to like 8 questions that you can ask yourself on any basis, just to help identify where you are successful, what you can do to get better and improve, and set a plan of action to do so. And we'll go through, like, when you ask yourself these questions, we'll go through examples on how you can start working on them and tips for developing self-confidence. But the first one that you should ask yourself always is, what are my strengths and the positive qualities that I can offer to the world? Understand yourself, really figure out where your strengths are, what you're good at. And that is the first step to building self-confidence. Because, hey, think about it. If you're someone who's, you've done, Olympic water polo for 12 years, you're probably pretty good at it. Like, you should take some confidence in that and be like, yeah, no one can water polo as good as me. Sorry, I have no idea what the term is on that. And, yeah, sorry about that. But anyways, all I'm saying is that you got some positive qualities and some strengths. So highlight that. The other thing that you can ask yourself is, what are my values and beliefs? Another question is, what are my goals and aspirations? Really what you're trying to do is understand where you want to be and what kind of life you want to live. And this is kind of where it gets a little self-help-esque, I would say. This isn't self-help stuff. I hate that kind of crap. Just because it's very fluff oriented, I would say. Anyways, but with that said, the next question you need to ask yourself is, what negative self-talk or limited beliefs am I holding on to? And what I mean by that is, like, are you scared to go try something new? Are you, telling yourself that you can't go lift weights because you haven't been doing it? Like, it's new. You're scared to go to a new gym. You don't want to apply for a job because, you might not get it. Like, are you talking to yourself bad about that kind of thing? That's a really good question that you need to ask yourself, because it can also identify where you need to build your own self-confidence. And this question, the next one, goes along with it pretty well, I think. And it's, what areas do I need to work on to achieve my goals? Like, what aspects of my life can I get better at, improve upon, and do that? And then another one is like, hey, what past successes can I draw upon to build my self-confidence? I think David Goggins talks a little bit about this. He talks about the cookie jar. Basically saying, like, hey, when you do something cool, like, put it in your cookie jar. So say you go run a marathon. Cool. Throw that memory in your cookie jar. And so when you're ever struggling with something, you can go through, and I might be getting this analogy 100% wrong. And if I am, okay. Anyways, so He asked himself, like, okay, well, maybe I'm going through a really difficult time right now. And it could be a marathon. It could be he's training for something else. But he goes back into his cookie jar and says, hey, I did a marathon. I could probably bear through and push myself a little bit harder for this. And that's what I would say too, is like, go back and look at your past successes and where you've been successful and build upon it. Don't be scared to build upon it either. And be confident in those. And some people say, oh no, you're cocky or you're arrogant. That's not true. Like, if you do something difficult, be proud of it. My girlfriend actually, she roasted me the other day because I don't know what we were talking about, but I guess you could say I'm a fast runner. And she's like, you just like do something crazy. Like, you go run a half marathon in an hour and 39 minutes, and then you're super humble about it. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't want to go boast. And she goes, don't boast, but like, tell yourself you're a good runner. Like, get confidence in that. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't get caught up on like, oh man, maybe I'm boasting. No, be proud of it and be confident in it. And another question that you can ask yourself is like, where are the people in my life that support me? Who are the people that are cheering me on? You need to surround yourself by those kind of people, because negativity breeds negativity. And so if you're hanging around like people who are telling you sad stuff every day, or they're not, I don't know, they're not really into it, and they're not into improving themselves, and you gotta find some people that really resonate with you, have the same goals, ambitions, and just be friends with them. It takes a while. Here's an example from my life. Recently, I've been trying to reach out to just a couple different mentors and ask them questions about how they balance time, how they balance, their professional, personal, and in my case, like spiritual life. How do they do that? Like, that's something, I'm 25 years old. I'm realizing is an issue. Like, you got to figure out how to balance your time, because otherwise it's just difficult to go through life and have so many different things pulling for your time. You got to figure out where to say no, and what aspects of your life are more important. And this kind of goes back to the questions 2 and 3 to ask yourself are, what are my values and beliefs, and what are my goals and aspirations? Go find people who you respect and look up to, and ask them if you could just talk to them. Ask them some questions. So I think these are all just important things before you start setting out a plan to try and become more self-confident, and you establish some practices or get a little bit better. So one thing that I would say is really focus on your strength. So the first step to building self-confidence is you need to focus on your strengths. And it's kind of like what I mentioned, like, figure out what you're good at and take some time to really reflect on that and celebrate those strengths, because recognizing your abilities is crucial to building confidence in yourself. Never think that you can't do something. Never tell yourself that you can't. Go after a goal. I found this quote the other day. I'm going to stray from my outline, so if things get a little messy, just bear with me. But I found this quote the other day that I thought was really great with, talking about getting better at, sorry, I'm pulling this up. Talking about just like getting better on yourself, and how to implement dreams, or how to implement goals for your dreams. Okay, here it is. It says, a dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. And a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. And so when you are going through and you're figuring out what my strengths are, then, you can sit down and create a plan to say, okay, I want to work on my running. I want to get better at running. So what do I need to do that? I don't know. First, start with the dream. If your dream is to run a sub-3 marathon, which is my goal in next January, when we are running for Team Tim, we'll talk. That's another podcast episode, but that's my goal. And so write it down. My goal is to run a sub-3 marathon in January of 2024. And then you can break it down into steps. Okay, if I want to do that, I probably have to train a little bit more. I have to work on my speed and not necessarily just my endurance. And then I probably need to implement like a diet and meal plan, right? To keep me healthy, give me the energy that I need to reach that goal and to train properly for it. And so all you have to do is sit down and literally write it down. and put the steps in place and then start executing on them. And don't be afraid if you start to fail. Then if you go listen to podcast 18, we're talking about goals and setting challenging goals. Never be scared to adjust your goals and embrace it. Like embrace the fact that you need to change and that you're able to, and that you recognize that. But never stop pursuing that goal if you think it's going to help you. And so the second part of ways that you can continue to develop self-confidence is face certain challenges. This could be trying new things, but self-confidence also comes from facing challenges and overcoming them. Stepping out of your comfort zones, trying new things, even when it is scary. Because, man, I love the analogy of like the first day of school when you were a little kid, because that's the one that I always think about. It's like when I was a little kid, I don't know why I was dreading the first day of like second grade. Like nothing bad was going to happen. I was probably going to go there and hang out with like all my friends and eat some fruit snacks, maybe drink a little applesauce and go hang out like on the monkey bars, play Foursquare, maybe like tetherball a little bit if I'm feeling fancy. So there's like nothing I should be scared about if like I'm going to the first day of school as a little kid. But we all have these irrational fears about trying new things, even when it is scary. But the important part is you need to push yourself beyond your limits because we grow and develop as individuals when we go through hard challenges and hard times. I mean, think about your own life. I'm sure you can draw an example of, when you went through something difficult, or you did something like you won a tournament for sports, or whatever the situation might be. But like, think about how you got through it and then how you felt afterwards, and apply that to new things. Apply that to getting out of your comfort zone and really pushing yourself. Facing challenges doesn't mean that we need to set ourselves up for failure, though. It's important to choose those kind of challenges and goals that are just outside of your comfort zone until you can continue to build up that self-confidence in yourself. Don't set yourself up for failure, because that is dangerous, and that can help your negative self-talk. We don't want that. We don't want to listen to that voice. I told, I don't know who helped me come up with this, but I think I mentioned it in a previous podcast. The negative talk guy that jumps into my head, like whenever I try and question myself, or like I'm struggling with like overcoming something, I call him Kenny. And so I just like in my head now, I recognize when I am talking like bad about myself, or I'm saying, I don't know, dumb things like, oh no, I can't get through this workout. Like, this is hard. Or, man, I don't want to prep a presentation. I'm going to sound like an idiot at work. I'm really nervous about that. I just tell Kenny to shut the hell up. I'm like, Kenny, get out of here. You got no room in my head. And then like, it's as dumb as it sounds, like identifying or putting a name to your negative self-talk or whatever those thoughts come into your head. It's like, hey, shut up, Kenny. Like, go away. It kind of makes it like, I don't know, kind of funny. And then immediately you just recognize that about yourself and then kind of jump out of it. So that's something you could try. Is like, if you talk bad about yourself a lot, then put a name to it, like a name that really doesn't resonate well with you. I don't know, maybe someone bullied you as a kid. Throw that name there and be like, hey, shut up, bully. Like, this is Brett's mind here. I'm the best. Some might even say a juggernaut. So just try that with yourself. But the third part is like, it's actually practicing that self-talk, really understanding where your thoughts are, because thoughts and like the way that you talk to yourself has a very powerful impact on our self-confidence. If we're constantly telling ourselves that we're not good enough, and we'll never actually believe that, and like that'll get hardwired into our brain. That's why it's crucial actually to practice self-talk, and like, as cheesy as it is, give yourself some positive affirmations. I know, again, going back to the fact that I don't like self-help stuff. My idea is like, if you want to really work on yourself, you actually have to work on yourself. You can't just read some notes on a like a little note card or anything like that. I don't know what I'm saying there, but with getting better and improving, you have to listen to something, go read a book, and then try and apply those principles to your life. And so with self-help and things like that, they're great. They're nice books to read sometimes. If you need to read them, read them. But all I'm saying is like the message is pretty much the same. Like, hey, you can do everything you want to, which is true. I believe that you can go and do whatever you want. It's difficult to pursue things that you're actively interested in, but basically what I'm trying to say is like, there is something to it. The fact that, maybe you need to read something. I can't remember his first name, but Steve Weatherford. Yeah, he used to be a football player for the NFL or in the NFL, but he go look at his Instagram page. He'll like sit down in his car and pull out note cards and be like, all right, champions, because you're champions. And I wanted to read this positive affirmation for you specifically. Then he'll like pull out a card and be like, you are I'm just going to make this up because I can't think of one. He's like, you are a beast. Like, go out and conquer whatever you want to because you can go and conquer. So it's like things like that. And I think that's great. Like, but all I'm saying is you have to actually go and apply those principles and actually go try it. So with giving yourself affirmations and positive self-talk, it's great, but you have to believe it yourself. And then you have to apply those principles. Like if you are a conqueror, like Steve Weatherford tells you are, what are you going to go conquer? You're going to go not give in to those chocolate chip cookies that are sitting on your countertop. Conquer that, baby. Go get it. Don't go get it, but like go get the fact that you're going to conquer it. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so that's something that you could do. So instead of focusing on what you can't do, focus on what you can do. Tell yourself that you're capable and that you're strong and that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. But by focusing on the positive, that's one of the ways that we can also build self-confidence in our own abilities and work for them. So try it. Like, as dumb as it might sound, put a little sticky note on your mirror that says you're going to have a great day, or you can do whatever you want. Not sure if I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the podcast, and I might get roasted, and that's okay. But in high school, me and my buddies, we called ourselves the Pack Rats. Yeah, that's a name. I think the name came from like my buddy Josh. He had a minivan, and we'd all say, "All right, pack it in like a bunch of pack rats." And so we'd go and jump into the minivan, and there's like 6 guys, and we'd all just slam it in the minivan, and then like try and get as many other people in there. Really dangerous. I'm not saying go do this. I'm just telling you where the name came from. Anyways, the Pack Rats motto was you can do whatever you want. And I still live by that principle. You can do whatever you want. Go do whatever you want. You want to go try something new? Go do it. If you fail, great. Learn. But you can do whatever you want. If you want to go be an astronaut, that's a lofty goal. You'll probably have to figure out the training, the degrees that you need to get there. But you can do it. Go do it. It might take a few years. And by few years, I mean 10, 15, or whatever that might be. Anyways, all I'm saying is tell yourself that you can do things and start believing it, and then try it, and then go freaking conquer the world, as Steve Weatherford said. And then I kind of just touched on this, but when you go through and you're doing these things, like learn from your mistakes, because not mistakes or failures, but actually there's not a better word for it. So when you go through and you try something new, you make a mistake or you fail at it, then take a step back and realize that not everyone is perfect. Like, self-confidence isn't about being perfect, because we all make mistakes and have moments of self-doubt. Instead, it's about like letting go during those moments. Like, don't let them defeat you, because we should use them as opportunities to learn and grow. That's the only way that we learn and grow. Think about it. Like, if you want to get better at something, you're going to go research how to do it. And you're going to try it, and then you might fail again, but at least you're a little bit better. And when we make mistakes, we choose to beat ourselves up, and that can really spiral into negativity. Or we can choose to learn from those mistakes and again, use them as opportunities for growth. But by choosing the latter, we really build confidence in our ability to handle those challenges, like I mentioned before, and overcome obstacles that come your way. So like when you go through and you try and apply these principles of self-confidence and you do these things, like it's going to be hard. I came up with just like four different examples of how people can build self-confidence. I think the first one's pretty easy to relate to, and that's like public speaking. I think if you listen to my first podcast, you can probably say I've gotten a little bit better at how I talk, my cadence, and maybe bringing more relevant topics to the table here. If you could listen to those early ones, man, I have no idea what I was doing. I mean, I still don't. This is still new. I think this is episode 20. That's cool. Anyways, public speaking. Like many people struggle with public speaking and may feel nervous or anxious, like when presenting to a group. That could be at school, like your professional career or whatever you're doing. But one way to build self-confidence in this area is just to practice and prepare. So like go through, rehearse your presentation, visualize how it's going to go, boost your self-confidence and feel more at ease when the time comes to speak by doing your research, thoroughly practicing, and go in front of a mirror, talk a little bit. But that's one example. And another one is like fitness and exercise, because regular exercise can be a great way to build self-confidence. If you go there with the idea like, hey, I'm going to get healthy, guess what? You're going to become stronger. You're going to become more physically fit. You're going to take some pride in that. Like, hey, look what I'm accomplishing. And then additionally, you know what? Like, you're going to look at your body and be like, hey, I'm looking good, man. Like, dang, when I'm busting out the seams of this shirt, like my biceps are looking hot. Maybe that won't be you, but it can build up some self-confidence for you. And additionally, like if you're going to go and exercise, then you're going to release endorphins and other scientific stuff that I don't want to go into because I don't know about it. But I do know about endorphins. Like they get released when you exercise, and then that's just going to boost your mood. You're going to feel great and you're going to feel confident. Another example is like with job interviews and with your career. Those can always be stressful and intimidating, but it goes back to public speaking. It's like just practice, research the company, research the position, practice your response, like to certain questions that you know they might ask you, and then dress as nice as you want and look in the mirror, give yourself a high five, and say, "I got this. Go get it." Another one that I think people look over, as I was doing research on like self-confidence, they were talking about like social confidence and like putting yourself out there when you're in groups with people, but apparently it can be challenging for people. There are people who struggle with shyness or social anxiety, but to build self-confidence in this area, you can practice just like listening to your friends, asking them questions to show your interest in others, and then focus on building like really good connections. Again, this goes to the question you need to ask yourself of who around like supports me, who believes in me, because those need to be your close circle. And when, I guess with social situations, one thing that I read was like a lot of people beat themselves up when things don't go their way, and or when they're forced to step out of their comfort zone. But just do it gradually. Start slow. Build your confidence in social situations. But like something great that I would also say is like fake it till you make it. This is like a very useful technique that can help in building your self-confidence. And it might seem really weird at first, but you can just do like 6 things. Yeah, I made a list. I'm sorry. But like the first one is just adopt confident body language. Put yourself up, stand up straight, make eye contact when you're talking to people. Dress well. Like if you're thinking about your clothes, then you could start being like, man, my red shirt isn't as nice as that guy's red shirt. They're going to be judging me. Like, okay, just dress comfortably, dress how you like, and look nice, because that can boost your mood and help you feel more confident, as dumb as that is. Use positive affirmations as you're faking it. So it's like, oh, hey, I'm kind of struggling in this social situation, but hey, at least I'm here. That's kind of cool. Take some risks, step outside of your comfort zone, prepare when those times come, and just research. Like I said, if it's a job interview, a public speaking engagement, just make sure that you're preparing for these things. And then the last one, because I think this is very important for people, is just surround yourself by people who will build you up and who are also confident. Spend some time with them. Their energy can rub off on you if you need it, and then rely on that a little bit until you build up your own self-confidence. But faking it until you make it's just something that like anyone can do. And make sure that it's not like super fake to where it doesn't feel genuine, but just note that, it's going to take some time to develop self-confidence. So if you need to try the principle of faking it till you make it, don't be scared to do it. So there you have it, folks. Like, building self-confidence is a lifelong process that requires consistent effort and focus. That's something that I really want to emphasize is, you're never going to be 100% confident all the time. But by focusing on your strengths, facing challenges, practicing this positive self-talk, learning from your mistakes or failures, you can really start to build that confidence in yourself and believe that you can achieve your goals and dreams, because you can. I know you can. You're listening to this podcast, so obviously you're getting after it. You're doing things that push you a little bit and try to get you out of your comfort zone. But focus on that. Find some areas that you want to improve on. Ask yourself those questions. I'll add the questions that you can ask yourself to the show notes, just so people can go and, if you want to write them down and go through the exercise of actually asking yourself questions, writing out your strengths, where you can really focus on areas that you are confident in, and then figure out where you want to improve. So I'll add that to the show notes. But thank you everyone for listening to this episode. Hope you learned something from it. If not, maybe next episode will be a little bit better for you. But keep getting after it. Keep pushing yourself. Try new things, and don't be scared to fail, because those failures teach us, and they make us better and help us improve. So keep getting after it, fam. Oh, man, that was a really bad outro. Not fam. Dang it.